Greetings, everyone. Father Jim here. Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. It is the 8th day of February as we continue to move through this first full week of February. I'll be reading from both of our readings today from our liturgy. Our first reading, of course, goes back to the very first book of Kings as we continue the story of Solomon, beginning in chapter 11, verse 4. When Solomon was old, his wives had turned his heart to strange gods, and his heart was not entirely with the Lord his God, as the heart of his father David had been, by adoring Astarte, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Milcom, the idol of the Ammonites. Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not follow him unreservedly as his father David had done. Solomon then built a high place to Chemosh, the idol of Moab, and to Molech, the idol of the Ammonites, on the hill opposite Jerusalem. He did the same for all his foreign wives. He burned incense and sacrificed to their gods. The Lord therefore became angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, who had appeared to him twice. For though the Lord had forbidden him this very act of following strange gods, Solomon had not obeyed him. So the Lord said to Solomon, "Since this is what you want, and you have not kept my covenant with my statutes, which I enjoined on you today, I will deprive you of the kingdom and give it to your servant. I will not do this during your lifetime, however, for the sake of your father David. It is your son whom I will deprive, nor will I take away the whole kingdom. I will leave your son one tribe for the sake of my servant David, and of Jerusalem, which I have chosen." And going to our gospel today, Mark chapter 7, beginning with the 24th verse. Jesus went to the district of Tyre. He entered a house and wanted no one to know about it, but he could not escape notice. Soon a woman whose daughter had an unclean spirit heard about him. She came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by birth, and she begged him to drive the demon out of her daughter. He said to her, "Let the children be fed first, for it is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She replied and said to him, "Lord, even the dogs under the table eat the children's scraps." Then he said to her, "For saying this, you may go. The demon has gone out of your daughter." And when the woman went home, she found the child lying in bed and the demon gone. Wow, what an amazing contrast we have in our readings today. So first we have Solomon the wise, the most powerful king. He had received such blessings from God, especially through his father David. He would be remembered as one of the greatest kings in all history. But unfortunately, he is also remembered as one of the greatest examples of a man who squandered away many of the gifts that he had been given. Through his many marriages to non-believers, he had been compromised and led away from the wisdom that so defined his younger life. Solomon began with such promise, but he ended in disgrace and sacrilege. The Syrophoenician woman in our gospel had a very different story indeed. She was not from the lineage of Abraham, but she was a pagan raised with false gods. She would have been considered unclean and an enemy of the Jewish people. But somehow, some way, she comes to hear about Jesus, and she has faith that he can save her demon-possessed daughter. Now, when Jesus says to her, "Let the children be fed first, for it is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs," he is signifying that he has come to preach the kingdom to the Jews first. She, in turn, humbly asks for the scraps that the children are not eating. And moved by her humility and her faith, Jesus heals her daughter. It's truly amazing how someone walking so close to God can end up so far away, like Solomon. And another who seems so lost can find her way to salvation. It's a good reminder that we need to be careful about forming judgments about those who may have dark beginnings to their story. They may just find their way to the light, But it is also a warning to not assume that if we were faithful at one time, that we'll always be faithful. Sadly, we're all broken and flawed by those effects of original sin. And yes, our lives can certainly take the wrong turn. Well, in both cases, we certainly desperately need the Lord. We need to seek him. We need to find him. And we need to abide with him, the gift of faith. So let's continue to pray in thanksgiving for those gifts and for the grace always to grow them for all time. Good words to think about today on this Thursday as we move through the rest of this week. Hope you're doing well. Let's keep praying for one another. God bless you. Have a great day.